Alrighty, guys, we are back. So we got some news, obviously. That's what we're here to see. So I have not been really playing a lot, as you can tell, because I don't even have Path of Exile up in the background. Not Path of Exile. I don't have Call of Duty up on the background because I have been playing Path of Exile for past couple weeks, actually. That being said, I've still been keeping up. I'm not completely out of the loop. So why don't we just hop in and get started? So we're all excited for, one of the three things that is certain in life, death, taxes, and the yearly Call of Duty. So we know that we're going to get a new Call of Duty Vanguard, but what we know about it, here's what we know about it so far. So we know it's going to come out this year, typically in November, not November, just quarter 4 of 2021. That's typically the fashion. We also know is that... Oh wait, I have a button for that. We also know that it's going to be set in World War II, specifically because it's supposed to take back to one of the more popular games. And since it's run by Sledgehammer, it's being spearheaded by Sledgehammer, and their most popular game was World War II. We believe that that's where it's going to end up being again. So it's not a definitive thing yet, but we have a good idea that it's going to be set in World War II. We also know that from the get-go it's going to be integrated with Warzone. Which, at least from my understanding, not my understanding, in my opinion, that's actually a good thing, just because of the fact that with Cold War, Modern Warfare had to be integrated with Warzone because that was kind of like the base of it. So it would actually make sense that it was integrated from the get-go. But then we added that Cold War integration in. Yeah, I know. For those of you that actually play Path of Exile, I'm pretty poor. But Cold War was out for a month or two already before it came out, or before it was integrated, and that was a disaster. All of the guns felt... Ooh, sorry. The guns behaved weird. Your Cold War weapons were always going to be better than your other ones, or than your Modern Warfare weapons. It seemed like the game as a whole, the mechanics just felt off. And I need to do... Only cause... I want to respond to this, but I shouldn't right now. Oh, what was it? Sorry, so the Warzone integration was a disaster, obviously. It made everything feel weird. Your Cold War guns were always better for the first couple months. And then they kind of, evened it out with what's better. I mean, it's still kind of heavily focused on Cold War, but it was more of the weapon... the weapon types than the actual weapons themselves. Like, the attack rifles... We didn't really have that with Modern Warfare, so... Well, it's not that we didn't have it, it's that they weren't as, worked over as the Cold War guns were when they came out. So the fact that we already know that on launch it's going to be integrated is something that I'm excited to see, just because of the fact that... Oh, I don't have chat messages. I do not have chat messages. They've had more time since it... Am I playing? Is my music playing? I think my music's playing. But it says from the get-go, not from the get-go, it just kind of like foreshadowed with the integration of Cold War into Warzone. That was just kind of gonna kind of be the case from now on. Which that wasn't actually confirmed, but it was kind of like not hinted at. Like, it was hinted at, kind of, just because of the fact that, like, they were trying to make this integration work so much. Because I feel, and this is, again, just my speculation here, when Vanguard gets added into Warzone, that, what is it? When Vanguard gets added to Warzone, I feel like Modern Warfare is just going to kind of get, like, phased out in the Warzone scene. It's probably still going to be its own, well, it's still going to be its own game, but, like, you're not going to be able to have as much luck with the Modern Warfare AK, or if that were to make any sense. Like, it feels like the Modern Warfare weapons are going to be kind of phased out, and Cold War is going to be the quote-unquote old gen. And I feel like this is just something they're going to keep going with until, you know, Warzone 2 comes out, and then it's probably going to start over. But, at least for now, it seems like the integration is going to be a commonplace. But, since it was kind of foreshadowed there, we can assume that this integration is going to go so much smoother, based solely on the fact that the Cold War integration kind of messed it up already. So Ashenwood, okay. Amber? Oh, Keurig. Okay, my bad. But the Cold War integration already kind of shook everything up because it was terrible. But now they kind of have a sense as to what works and what doesn't. And they can kind of, like, learn from that. Okay, we'll give you just a little bit more food. God, you guys are hungry today, like. It was great. Okay. So they've had more time to work on this integration, so I feel like this one's going to be a lot smoother. Whether that integration is going to be immediately at launch or like in a couple weeks after is kind of just a, like, that's still kind of, I want to say up in the air, but it's not really up in the air because they've already said that it's going to be integrated, not at launch, but there wasn't a talk of Cold War integrating into Warzone until the first couple weeks, and they're talking about this integration before it's even come out. I should stop trying to guild chat. That being said, the last thing that we know is reportedly Vanguard is going to feel more like Call of Duty Modern Warfare than Cold War. But, like most leaks, this one, maybe. We can't fully trust it, considering the variety of information that's come from it. Like, one leaker reported Vanguard would essentially be Cold War 2.0, which is the opposite of what another leaker is claiming. At the same time, there have been reports touting Vanguard's grittiness, trying to channel some of Modern Warfare's controversy when the game launched. But since we're kind of looking for a reveal later this month, and when that comes around, you know, we might actually get some more solid details about this year's game. So, you know, as most of you know, some of the things are, like, some of the leaks that we talk about are true. Some of them are just speculation. Some of them have been like, we're gonna find out, are outright wrong. There's actually one that I talked about, I think last week, that we found out otherwise on. That's why I always say, like, these are leaks, these are my opinions. Nothing's actually set in stone. I'm turning my fan on because it's hot here. But where is it? We're gonna talk about the future of Cold War once Vanguard actually comes out. So, in a lot of ways, Cold War is exactly what you'd expect from a Call of Duty game. It's got a single-player campaign, a co-op zombies mode, and traditional multiplayer experience. While the campaign and zombies change things up in some interesting ways, the base overall structure stays the same with your single-player, multiplayer, and some sort of cooperative mode. Cold War is also keeping the same 6-season structure that was seen with 2019's Modern Warfare. But, though it does have a similar setup, it could be changing soon. Because allegedly, the game's going to be getting extra support beyond the planned 6 seasons. Basically creating a second year of content for players to enjoy. While Call of Duty only supports this game for years after launch, except for rare cases like Black Ops 3 Zombie Chronicles DLC. Where did my chat go? Oh, I just moved the window. Okay. My bad. It's a big deal. But it should be the new standard for the franchise. With games beyond Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War getting the same type of treatment. They didn't specify what form these extra editions would be taking. Another insider added to the rumor, according to the Modern Warfare 2 Ghost, Black Ops Cold War has 12 more maps ready to be released. Based on previous seasonal formats, players can expect 3 of the maps to release in Season 5. Additionally, Season 6 will likely get 3 more maps, which leaves 6 of those 12 maps without a specific content drop. As such, these maps could be spaced out through 2022. Now, mind you, this is just for multiplayer. So we have 6 maps that are planned to come out, but that's not talking about, or that's not, incorporating or thinking about any additional zombies content. But the Modern Warfare 2 Ghost hinting that there's also another map remake in the works that's not Yemen or Plaza. It seems like this bonus map has the potential to hit 7. It's another remake, but we're not quite sure which map they're remaking yet. I mean, I want not shoot house. I want firing range. Still want firing range. I haven't seen firing range, but I want firing range. But again, these are just leaks that aren't actually confirmed yet. It's a good sign that 2 reputable insiders are suggesting there's more Call of Duty Cold War content on the way, with 2 seasons worth of maps supposedly ready to go. Seems like fans of the latest Black Ops title have a lot to look forward to. Well, here are my thoughts on this. I do agree that having a longer game support is a good idea, just from the fact that, I mean, we pay $60 per game every year, and we gotta go. But we only get to play that game for a year, whereas with let's say Destiny 2, for example, you pay $60 for that game, and then every couple years you play or you pay another like 30, $40 for an expansion. But you could still play that old content. That old content is still like relevant per se. Granted, like it took them a while. Actually, I'm gonna Google this. Yeah, so Destiny 1 still actually has the servers up, whereas, Call of Duty, after a few years, they just shut down the servers, and any money you spent on that is kaput. So it makes you feel like you kind of have to get that, like, $60 worth in a year. And granted, that's... we could figure out several ways to get to the different, like, maths of that, but to me personally, it just feels like it's not long enough. It kind of feels like we have a year to do whatever we want to do, and after that, like, this game's irrelevant, so we gotta move on. I mean, who's loaded up Call of Duty Modern Warfare recently? I took one of my feet out. So I think this extra support's going to be a good thing. But at the same time, they're going to add 12 new maps over the next 2 seasons. Oh, by the way, we know it's going to start August 12th. I can't remember how we figured that out, how we learned that, but the Season 5 opens August 12th. Currently now, we are wrapping up the last week with a double XP weekend. So there's that. But August 12th is going to be the release date. Over those next Season 5 and Season 6, we've got 12 new maps to come out. What the heck did I do? How did I open the help? But it just feels kind of off to me because over the next 2 seasons, they're coming out with double the maps that were available for Cold War on launch. You know what I mean? Like, it just kind of feels... It feels kind of cheated. I feel kind of cheated because, you come out and we have half of the maps that we're getting in the last 6 months of the game's shelf life, if that makes sense. I mean, granted, we were all saying they could have released more maps from the get-go. But, God, I love looking at my fish tank. But it just kind of feels like they did us dirty, because over the next 2 seasons, they're releasing 6 new maps. Which is the amount that was at the beginning of the game, and 6 more, maybe 7 on top of that. It just kind of feels like I'm getting cheated out of content, if that makes any sense whatsoever. We're gonna move on. So, earlier, I mentioned how sometimes we get news here and these leaks, they're not 100% true. So I gotta backtrack, and I think it was either last week or the week before. We talked about the release of a Modern Warfare 3 remaster. Now, I said I would personally love that game. And although they've remastered 1 and 2 and based on that information, we got 1 remastered, 2 remastered. They're going to come out with 3 remaster. The entire internet was kind of like, oh, is it just going to release with Black Ops Vanguard, or not called Black Ops Vanguard, Call of Duty Vanguard, or is it going to be its own game that you got to buy? But after months of rumors, Activision confirmed to Charlie Intel that a remastered version of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 doesn't exist. See, that's why I say we can't always trust these leaks. I'm honestly a little bummed because I feel like I was giving you guys some bad information, but at the time it was what I thought to be true, and that is my bad. But as of now, it's been confirmed that Modern Warfare 3 Remastered doesn't exist. Again, a little bummed out because I feel like I'm giving wrong information. Plus, I actually really, really liked that game. But there's not a lot that we can do other than, like, hope it comes at some point, and then all I can do is come on and be like, yo, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I thought this was a thing, but it wasn't, and I feel bad about that. Moving on, we know Season 5 will be released on August 12th. We know some things so far. We know that there's a new game mode called Double Agent. In this new mode, which is the first for Call of Duty, players designated as double agents are trying to sabotage a mission while keeping their roles a mystery. The match will begin with 10 players in the lobby, and they're assigned one of 3 roles. You can see a rundown of the roles and their missions below as written by Activision. You're not seeing my notes, so I'm just going to read these out loud. So your first role is going to be your double agents, who must either eliminate everyone else or successfully set off explosive charges around the map. The second role is the investigator, who can use clues to target suspected double agents as wanted criminals. There are also the third and final class, which are operators, who must work together to identify and eliminate the double agents before it's too late. Players begin with a pistol and can further flesh out their arsenal during the preparing stage of the map. They can find weapons. And other things. The double agents can use They can use items such as gas mines, counter spy planes. My bad. Combat bows and attack helicopters. They're also impervious to a radiation that emerges from charges they set. Investigators can use trophy systems, stim shots, and hand cannons. They can also see the footprints of the person who killed their teammate. Investigators are also able to designate someone as suspicious and launch a wanted order against them. So, we got the three different classifications. Roles. That's what we're going to say, roles. So your double agents and your investigators are the only ones that are special per se. There was nothing on the operatives that I could find. Otherwise, I'd love to talk about that, because what we don't know yet are, like, these operatives. Is it just like Warzone where you try to loot stuff? You try to loot stuff to find the double agent. I almost said the other word. Is there anything special about them? Like, can they use any skill streak? Or any kill streak? Any items? Any perk? But I'm kind of excited to figure this out, to find the imposter, because this is pretty much... It just feels like Among Us, but Call of Duty. I get that it's a popular game, and I'm not sure how I feel about it, just because of the fact that, like, it feels like Call of Duty is just, like, jumping on the bandwagon of the popularity Among Us now. And it feels like a little too late. But I also feel like this could be a very fun and challenging game mode. Okay. So, we're getting 5 new maps in the Cold War Season 5 update. Many of them may be familiar to fans. That's why I only said 3, because only 3 of them are actually, like, new. At least that I've heard of. So the new maps are Echelon, which is 6v6. This one will be out at launch. It's a new map that was first displayed in a Season 5 cinematic trailer. It's set in Berlin and takes place in the rain. We also have Slums, which is a 6v6, which is a new version of the Black Ops 2 map. Slums is set in Panama City and supports a variety of playstyles. Showroom, which is a 2v2 and a 3v3, will be included at launch, which is a new gunfight and face-off map set in the Pines, which is a mall in New Jersey. Players will be ducking in and out of displays and kiosks. The last 2 are coming in later. So we got Drive-In, which is a 6v6. This map, originally seen in the first Black Ops, takes place in an abandoned drive-in theater. I remember this one. It's remastered for the first time following its original release 10 years ago in Call of Duty Black Ops. Annihilation DLC. Yeah, I remember that map, kind of. I can't remember the layout, but the name and the, like, premise is just like, I know this. I feel bad for not knowing it, like, exactly what it is, but I know it. But our last 6v6 map that we're getting, this will come later, it's called Zoo. It's another fan favorite map. I mean, originally debuted in the first Black Ops, it takes place in a zoo and has players ducking in and out of places like a bear pit and the gift shop. Now we have 2 new maps, 2 new maps, Echelon and Showroom. But the Showroom isn't technically new because it's kind of like a small part of a map that's already in there. And then we have 1, 2, and 3 remaster maps. 1 from Black Ops 2 and 2 from the original Black Ops. There are some people that are going to say that these should have been in a long time ago, and I kind of agree. Because, at least in my opinion, the best maps in Black Ops Cold War have been the remastered ones. I mean, I like some of the Black Ops Cold War maps. I hit the wrong button. But, like, the remaster maps just kind of, like, take me back to where... Not take me back. They feel more comfortable because they kind of, like... I've played them before. Whereas the new ones are good. They're good. Not... Well, I mean, they're not great. But they're decent. But... With, like, Hijacked, for example, there's just little things that are new, but a lot of it just feels familiar. You're kind of learning it again for the first time, it feels like. That and the maps were, like, way, way better sized back then, at least in my opinion. With Season 5, we're getting those 5 new maps. And we're getting a new score streak. In the form of a flamethrower. Do you guys... Can anybody in the crowd guess what that score streak is? No? Okay. It's exactly that. It's a gun that fires flames and is deadly at close range. Well, I agree to score streaks. What? I think my headset just died. My headset did just die, so we're gonna unplug it. Okay. Not a big deal, I guess. But with the I agree on the new score streaks front just because of the fact that, like, it just kind of feels like every other score streak is just kind of played out. You've used every single one. There's a couple new ones, but it just doesn't feel like there's anything new happening anymore. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to feel about it, because this new one, it's a flamethrower. What is going to be the range of it? I feel like it's not going to be very good. And I feel like it's not going to have the range, and it's not going to have the damage. At least not for a while. They're probably going to have to rework it a few times. Either that, or it's just going to be overpowered in the first couple months, and then they're going to nerf it into the ground, and no one's going to use it anymore. Jeez. Okay, where am I at? But back to Season 5, zombies isn't going to be forgotten. They're adding a 9th perk called Death Perception, which allows players to see hidden enemies before giving them a shining outline. This perk, like others, can be upgraded by Ethereum crystals. The new field upgrade is the Tesla Storm, and it shoots lightning at enemies. After it's been upgraded, it can also attack special and elite zombies, while it will also increase team movement speed. The flamethrower weapon also comes to zombies to do what it does best: light zombies on fire. Sorry, I looked at the name. More content's coming to Zombies through Season 5, including the Akari exit map for Dead Ops Arcade 3 and new story elements that can be found in Outbreak and Onslaught. For Outbreak specifically, a new region called Collateral will be available at launch, an incredibly unstable area. Collateral has oil drills, rock structures, and a fallen satellite to avoid or use for cover. There are multiple new objectives to complete on Collateral, the first of which is called Transport, which calls on players to drive a precious Requiem machine out of the Outbreak zone. Jeez, I can't talk today. Outbreak also gets a new vehicle, which is the tank, which features a mounted minigun to help you blast away zombies, as well as an armored vehicle, it's a well-armored vehicle, but it's very slow. A new craftable item is coming to Outbreak 2. The grapple gun lets players dash across the map with speed, not unlike how the grapple shot works in Halo Infinite, it seems. Moving on to Warzone. Two new perks are coming to the game to keep the meta fresh. These new perks, Combat Scout and Tempered, are exclusive to Warzone. They're the first perks to date to be exclusive to the Battle Royale game, as the rest are shared with Modern Warfare. Combat Scout helps players by briefly highlighting where an enemy is after they've damaged them. This enemy also will show up briefly on your minimap. The second new perk is Tempered, which promises to fundamentally change armor values. Armor plates become stronger, so they only need 2 to become fully armored instead of 3. In other words, Temper allows each armor plate to absorb 75 points of damage instead of the standard 50, but an operator will only be able to wear 2 at a time. This unique change also comes at the sacrifice of your perk 2 slot, so choose your perk setup wisely before bulking up with those reinforced plates. Now, I could see a couple problems with both of these. Combat Scout, for one. I feel like they're essentially adding wall hacks into the game. I mean, if you shoot them, they're going to take damage, and then it's going to show them briefly, but there's probably going to be a bug where you're going to be able to see them forever. I don't know, it just kind of feels like with this Combat Scout, they help temporarily add hacks into the game, which is weird because aren't they trying to avoid that? Now, the tempered. That's something I'm kind of curious about. Because allegedly, this takes up 2 perk slots. And it only lets you equip 2 plates at a time. Now, here's what I'm curious about. It's going to take up 2 slots. So is that going to be worth it? Oh, jeez. My vaporizer is getting into my fish tank. Because 2 perk slots is going to be a lot, is a kind of a deal. Let's be honest. I'm going to change the water today or tomorrow anyway. But 2 perk slots is a big deal. And to add that, you can only equip 2 plates at a time. So you're pretty much getting 3 plates for the price of 2. Are you still going to be able to carry that max of 8 plates, I think it is? I haven't played Warzone in a while. But that's something to kind of look for. But I feel like there's going to be a glitch where instead of 75 damage instead of 50, each plate's going to take like 200 or something. I can already see something like that happen because this game is not without its problems. But either way, I think these 2 perks are going to shake things up a little bit. And that's something I'm kind of looking forward to because everybody's just kind of... It seems like everybody uses the same, like, couple perk setups. And new perks are going to be... I don't want to say well-received, but I feel like it's needed at this point. Now, as of these being exclusive to Warzone, that's the part where I'm kind of iffy on, just because of the fact that, like... Oh, no. Almost dropped $1 into my power supply. I'm not sure how I feel about unique... not unique. Warzone exclusive, perks because of the fact that, like, they want to use, what do I want? What am I trying to say here? So they're trying to incorporate the games as well as they can so that everything's kind of integrated so you can go from Modern Warfare to Warzone or Cold War to Warzone. And it'll be kind of seamless, but at the same time, you already have to set up your different weapons classes and your different perks and all of that. And just throwing exclusive perks into it just kind of seems like... It seems kind of like the wrong move. For that, like, everything meets up here kind of thing. I don't know, I guess we'll see. But I'm going to take just a short break for a minute or so and get up, maybe grab something to drink, okay? I will be back in a little bit. Alrighty, we are back. Where am I in my notes? That's not my notes tab. Okay, so we've got 3 new operators coming to Cold War in Warzone in Season 5. Including Kitsune, which will be at launch. She was featured in the key art for Season 5 and can be unlocked instantly by purchasing the Season 5 Battle Pass. Striker, who is a futuristic soldier who came out of a so-called future warfare program. He is described as an ultimate one-man army and a soldier who offers a glimpse of the battlefield of tomorrow. Meanwhile, Hudson comes from the Black Ops Cold War campaign, so he may be familiar to players. Stryker and Hudson will be available to purchase through DLC bundles. Now, here's one of the things that I'm not a fan of, and I get why they do this, but like it just kind of feels like a cash grab. If you look at the store, we have all of these bundles with different operator skins and stuff. So, why can't I unlock all of the characters without spending money? You know what I mean? Like, even if you just get like a basic skin, there should be at least some way to unlock these like season-specific characters without spending money, if that makes sense. I don't know. I'm just not impressed with that kind of thing, just because of the fact that, like, is anybody online? Please be online. Anyway. But we do have 4 new weapons coming to Black Ops Cold War throughout season... Not throughout season 5. There are 4 new weapons included in Season 5, coming to Warzone and Cold War. These include the EM2 Assault Rifle, the Tech 9 SMG, the Kane melee weapon, and a powerful pistol called the Marshall. I haven't been able to find anything on these new weapons, so I guess we'll just kind of have to see as it goes. I'll probably have some more on them next week, how you can unlock them and such. But for right now, all I know is that they're there. The last update to Season 5 involves the prestige levels. 4 new prestige levels are coming to Black Ops Cold War and Warzone, bringing the total number of potential prestige levels across the entire game to 23. So I love adding more prestige levels. I just kind of wish that it was added from the get-go. Like, I can kind of see why it wasn't. Just because of the fact that, like, you can't get prestige 68 level 1000 and then just be done with the game in Season 1 because you don't have any friends. So you kind of have to come back to reach those new prestige levels. And I understand that, and it's respectable. I just kind of wish that we had a definitive number from the start. I mean, right now we know it's 23, but how long is it going to be when the game is finally out of rotation? I'm going to unplug that air pump. Where was it? Oh. Okay. We got 2 more things to talk about, and one of them is a bug. So the heartbeat sensor's been bugged in the past, with one example being seen to this day. In kill cams, the heartbeat sensor will not show enemy locations, making it seem like they were never pinged at all. While hardly game-breaking, it's caused confusion and remained in the Battle Royale title for several months. A bigger problem was seen with Warzone's killer heartbeat sensors, as the equipment was randomly killing players last year. While this has been fixed, Raven Software has a new issue to deal with regarding the heartbeat sensor equipment. The bug sees the device becoming completely unusable. For whatever reason, the heartbeat sensor refuses to come out no matter how many attempts the players make. There was a 19-second clip that I watched on Reddit where a guy was trying to pull out the heartbeat sensor, and the entire 19-second clip, he's seen starting the animation, but nothing actually shows up, with the operator's hand instead going right back down to their gun. Now, what's the point of even having this, little helpful item if it's not going to work? Yeah, I'm going to clean that tonight. I mean, I'm glad that it's not just killing you anymore to use it, but it still also kind of has to work to begin with. It's not killing you, but it also just doesn't do anything, and that's something I'm just like, wait, what? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't work. How do we keep seeing bugs like this if they keep reportedly fixing them? Now, we're going to talk about anti-cheat as the last thing tonight, and I am finding this hilarious because Activision had a recent meeting with their investors, and they did not talk of an anti-cheat system for Call of Duty. Despite the fact that many players and streamers are switching over to Apex Legends for Season 10. Now, I'm going to be honest, I've played more rounds of Apex in the last couple months than I have Warzone. There's cheaters in Apex, but there's cheaters everywhere. I'm not going to run into 4 a match, because there's an anti-cheat. Some things get around the anti-cheat, but you can't. It's hard to get around something if it's not there to begin with. I feel like they need to create an anti-cheat. Ooh, that is sprouting leaves. That makes me happy. Sorry, one of the plants in my aquarium is sprouting little tiny leaves. Anyway. But there's no anti-cheat, so cheaters are just gonna keep being rampant. It makes the players not want to play the game, and it loses money for the investor. Not for the investor, for the developer, which loses money for Activision as a whole. So why not invest in the anti-cheat? If it's an expensive cost now, it'll avoid stuff later. Because if you spend $50,000 now to get an anti-cheat, instead of over the next couple years losing $100,000 in sales, is that not worth it? That being said, I am out of things to talk about. Thank you for listening in. We're going to be back next Saturday at 8 p.m. as we tend to do. Feel free to hit me up on any of those up there. You got your Discord. If you hit me up on Discord, I'll add you to the server we have. It's... Sorry. Everything's on fire up here, and if my allergies are going crazy. But if you hit me up on Discord, I can add you to the server that I have for this podcast, where you can give me suggestions, apply to be on an episode, talk about different games and stuff. And, invite your friends, bring them in. The link should be on my main page anyway. My Instagram's up there. My Twitch is up there, my Twitch and my YouTube, but you probably already know that because you're here. My Twitter's up there. The E in beta bits is a 3, and I can't remember why. Feel free to give us a follow, rate us on your favorite podcast apps. If I can figure out how to get Apple reviews, if you write a 5-star review and you say something, I will read it. That being said, much love. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for showing up, and we will catch you next time.